everybody to the JR Wisdom channel. I want to welcome all the new viewers and potential subscribers. Thank you for tuning in. Hopefully you find something you like on my channel as well as this video. If you do, be sure to like this video. And thank you again for all my other subscribers. And today I'm going to be talking about Nicki Minaj and Safaree. And we've seen Nicki Minaj in the news as of late in reference to the whole battle with Remy Ma. But today I'm going to be talking about, in particular, the relationship between Nicki Minaj and Safaree, and basically my take on, how this whole thing came to the point of where it is with the whole Meek situation and whatnot. As of late, Safaree was on the Wendy Williams show, and he basically, put it out there, or Wendy had to pull it out from him on what actually happened, what actually caused the breakup. So as many of y'all may know, that these two were in a relationship for about 12 years or so, since they were like in their late teens and things of that nature, before the fame, before Nicki blew up, and all these other things. He was her partner, I guess, in a dance crew. Over the time, he became her boyfriend, her lover, her manager, so to speak, or pseudo manager, her music director on her albums, and her ghostwriter, so to speak, and collaborator with that. So he was with her from the, in the slums, coming up all the way up to the point where her signing with Young Money and becoming the big superstar she is now. So throughout this, obviously he played the background. He was also a hype man for her. And as she continued to rise and things of that nature, many people didn't know that he was her actual boyfriend because of a lot of the things that she would say and the men that she was seen with in her career, and her even kissing other men, on camera and on film and things like that. So with this being said, it was obvious that because she's the money maker and the success, that she was by default the alpha female, or the alpha in the relationship. And I hate to be using alpha and beta, but for the purposes of this video, I'm going to use those terms. So she was the alpha of the relationship. And as we would find out, what Safaree revealed in some interviews after the breakup, she paid him directly. He was basically on her payroll. They didn't have any, because I guess he just didn't know or didn't think about it. They didn't have any contract in place. They weren't married and things like that. So according to Safaree, Nicki, as she blew up, she began to treat him like an employee instead of the contributor as far as being a partner in the whole relationship and the business. She started to treat him like an employee. And this whole thing, I guess, basically started the breakdown of the relationship when she started to treat him in this way, not seeing him as an equal, so to speak, and basically taking him for granted, which is, basically what I'm saying in this video. The title of it is the ingratitude, starting off with that, taking him for granted, which is not just a man-woman thing. It can be a man doing this or a woman doing this. But in this case, Safaree was the beta, and she wasn't being, she was being ungrateful, so to speak. And he just was feeling less than a man because of this that was going on. And the album recorded, he's knocking out, he's helping out with these albums. She's doing her own thing. Like I said, he's still on the payroll, but he doesn't like the way he's being treated. And I guess a lot of this has come out. Remy Ma's accused her of being like, from what she's heard, her not being a good person, her treating people like crap, her not being a nice people person. We heard stuff, behind the scenes on, other shows and stuff like that she was on, that she's not a really nice person. But that's not neither here nor there. Basically, what ends up happening is Safaree ends up leaving the relationship. When he leaves the relationship, shortly after that, it comes out that she's with Meek Mill. So we didn't know this up until recently about Meek Mill, but Safaree was basically the one who put them together as far as they were working together on the album. And being that Safaree was the musical director of the album, so to speak, executive producer, putting it together, he had no idea that they had recorded these two songs, because he was the middleman or the go-to guy between the two, basically saying, hey, okay, Nicki's going to be here this time, whatever, getting the studio time together, or, the recording process. So he just gave Meek the number and just said, hey, you can contact her instead. So I guess that's when Meek Mill started putting in his bid or whatever like that. So with this going on, I guess this was like the last straw for Safaree. He just felt that the relationship was pretty much at an end. He was being treated like a peasant, an employee, not a boyfriend. She's messing with these other dudes. And he just, obviously, like he said, he felt that the love wasn't there anymore. So it was just a matter of time before it ended, because he was being treated like that. So that's what led to, I guess, what it was said before, his infidelity. Him ending up stepping out on Nicki and departing from the relationship altogether, as he's always said. He's left the relationship. Now, on a lot of video, well, not a lot of videos, on a video that I've made, basically, it's called "Dear Black Women, Here are the top 5 reasons why men aren't marrying you." I discussed this in particular about the process where a woman treats a man, or is ungrateful to a man, or is constantly being condescending towards a man, and the man will do one of two things. He'll either be, 3 things actually. He'll either be abusive, he'll go upside her head, he'll go out and find another woman who treats him right, or he'll just leave the relationship altogether. Now, in the case of Safaree did the last two. He ended up stepping out on the relationship, and he ends up leaving the relationship altogether. And he says that when he left, she contacted him and said, "Are you sure this is what you want to do?" Because I guess based on her behavior, she thought that he was always going to be there, and that wasn't the case, and that he was just supposed to sit back and accept that and just take his little money that she gave him, so to speak, as far as her being the alpha woman. And this is another reason why, which I'm going to get into, in my opinion, as far as a woman being alpha in a relationship, she will never respect the man. In my opinion, she can never respect the man if she's the alpha in a relationship. And that's also in the case of if this woman is making more money than him, so to speak. I believe O'Shea, he does an excellent video where he talks about this as well. In the case of Serena, also, Serena Williams is making a whole lot more than her husband, or her soon-to-be husband, in that case. So back to Safaree, though, he's basically the beta in the situation. She's making the money. She thought that he was just going to be there, and he ends up saying, "No, I'm not coming back. That's the end of the relationship. I'm tired of being treated this way, da-da-da-da-da-da." And you normally see this the other way around. So when he leaves the relationship, she basically pops up with this relationship with Meek Mill, right? And in this relationship, she immediately makes fun of Safaree, basically calling him corny, and he never did anything for her, which is, we see this a lot in relationships where people say, you never really did anything in this relationship anyway, just being ungrateful about it. You never did anything, you're corny, and even got, as far as her being an alpha with Meek, even got Meek to jump in, and it was none of his business. As a man, he should have just stayed out of that instead of joining in on the bandwagon, clowning Safaree and taking it, and that's a corny dude in itself, just clowning this guy, and this guy hadn't said anything about her until she came at him with this, and that's when he did interviews, basically saying, only reason why I'm saying something now is because she's calling me corny and said I've never done anything for this relationship when he's held her down all this time, so to speak. And that one transgression of him stepping out, and I guess because the relationship was already over anyway. So these two attack him, which was really corny. And around this time, shortly after that, she falls out with Drake. And because her being the alpha in the relationship also with Meek Mill, she has more money than Meek Mill. She desires to be the alpha. I'm almost certain she pushed Meek Mill to go at Drake by putting out information saying he doesn't write, or basically she knows what goes on in Drake's camp by putting out certain information. Even though Drake did nothing but go out of his way for Meek Mill, doing stuff he didn't have to do, being a superstar that he was. So this guy jumps out the window, goes at Drake, and gets destroyed in the process. And Nicki holds on for, just to save face, but they end up breaking up over that, and Nicki ends up going back to Drake, being cool again. So, because this guy, even after that, he can't control his emotions. So, in my opinion, all this time, Nicki has yet to encounter an alpha male. And in order, in my opinion, based upon her stature, this alpha male would have to have more money than she has. Otherwise, I don't think she's going to come across anything like that. So for any man finding himself in that position, this is the beta male prophecy I'm giving you right now, if you don't already know. So that's why I labeled the video, or titled the video this. And things like that, once again, to the ladies, that behavior, attitude is going to lead to those things, either abuse, infidelity, or departure altogether. Well, if you come back, like I say, and I'll attach that video that I was talking about earlier, if you come back and say, well, I need a man that can handle me, or I need to be the alpha, then you don't need to be with that man if that's the case. You need to go, if you desire to be the matriarch, or like, as I like to call it, the patriarch of the family, of the relationship, then you need to go ahead and get yourself another man, so to speak, unless you just have a simp who's cool with that, with being in this position. But a man who can't get it on his own, or who is not effectively the patriarch of the household, in my opinion, is not respected by his significant other. So that's all I have to say about that. Make sure y'all like the video at this time. Hey, if you don't like it, go ahead and dislike it, but make sure y'all like the video. It costs you nothing. It's free. All you gotta do is click that button, like. And I'm gonna keep putting out content like this. Share the video, subscribe if you haven't already. Tell your friends to subscribe, all that good stuff. Follow me on social media. The link is in the description. Check out my books on Amazon. The link is in the description. Like I said, if you like the content, feel free to throw a couple coins in the well of wisdom. The link is in the description for donations. And remember, anything lost can be found again except for time wasted. And I will definitely catch you guys on the next video. If you got any suggestions, any videos you like me to, any topics that you like me to do a video on, feel free to email me. I'm all ears on that, and I'll catch you guys on the next video. All right, peace.